basically today what we've been doing is recording a crowd session. Basically what we do is we get in a group of people, and usually it's about 12 people, and we recreate all the crowd scenes. So in this film there's a lot of restaurants, there's a Holly festival, there's Kings of Curry competition, and when they do the film, basically all the people in the background aren't allowed to speak, because obviously we want the principal characters, we want their dialogue clean. So basically when I get it, there's no crowd in there at all. There's all these people just going that. So what we need to do then is bring people in and give voices to those characters and give character to the scenes. So if it's a restaurant, we need to get little tables of people and bring the scene to life, basically. You could get away with just library effects. There are a lot of library effects where you get restaurant chatter, people talking, but that would get boring, and basically people would start to see that or hear that you're using the same thing over and over again. So what we do for every film and television program is get individual crowd in and get them specific. In this film, basically we've got Hindi and Punjabi speaking, so there's no way you get that on a library CD. So you need to get specific crowd for the specific film that you're doing, and it gives that film its own character. And you do that on every film. So, for example, I worked on salmon fishing in the Yemen. We got Arabic speaking people, and it's really important. Otherwise, you can hear that it's cheap, and you can hear that they all sound the same. Yeah, so you have three departments, so to speak, on a film of this size, really: effects, dialogues, and Foley. And the Foley is recorded in this building at Anvil, and you have 2 Foley artists, and their job is to recreate every sound, not just for the domestic version, but for international version, because basically when you strip away the English language, everything goes with it. So if somebody's talking and puts a glass down, and you have that glass down, that disappears. So they will sit there, look at the picture and go, glass down. And they'll do all those sort of things, but they'll also do interesting things like the cookery, like in Jadoo we've got this really lovely old cookbook which is basically the argument they have over this cookery book, this recipe book, and we've got the prop, and it's got lovely crinkly paper, so when you turn it we record all that crinkly paper, and it just, again, as like I was saying with the crowd, it adds a texture to it and it brings it to life. And then you had the sound effects, which you'll have even more cooking noises, traffic noises. There's a really nice scene in this film where we have a flashback. We have flashback sequences where you understand why the brothers have split up, or rather fallen out. And we're going to do some nice, eerie cookery sounds and some photography flashes. And hopefully we'll use that later on with the main female character, and she's standing there. And if we can just subtly get in a camera flash, it might remind the audience of, oh, that's the picture when she was taken when she was a child. You know, there's that sort of thing. In simple terms, we all work on a system called Pro Tools, which is a computer-based system. It all used to be done on film, but as I say, there's 3 departments, and each department will present their work in a Pro Tools session in tracks of audio. And those tracks of audio, with dialogues, you may get 8 dialogue tracks, 6 ADR tracks. ADR is when you replace the dialogue if it's bad quality, which we've done a couple of scenes with this film, which we had planes overhead, so you get the main actors to come back in and they will revoice their lines and we bed them in. So then that's when sound effects become important. But basically you'll have the dialogue session, you have a dialogue pre-mix. First of all, that's the first thing you do. You come into a mixing theatre like this, and basically the mixer will take your tracks, set them up, he'll have a fader for each track on dialogues, and then he will go through an EQ, take noise out, you know, basically smooth all the dialogue, so that every time you have a cut you don't have a bad background change, and it all goes lovely and smooth. And then the dialogues will come, then the effects will come in, and they could be hundreds and hundreds of tracks, the effects, but they're all compressed down into a manageable amount of faders, and they're again pre-mixed. So you pre-mix all the effects, you get them basically leveled out, get the dialogues leveled out, the effects leveled out to where you're happy, and then you call in the important people, the director, producer, and primarily the director, and he will come in for the final mix, and he will look at what we've done, and we'll then have the music. We have a music editor, and then we'll start the mix. And the Foley will be used here and there where we need it. That would have been pre-mixed, and you basically you get all these tracks, loads and loads of tracks, and it keeps going down, 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 down until you get the final mix, and it's all mixed together, and we all sit there and give our opinion. But basically, the most important thing for me is to do our best to achieve the director's vision.